That is it for our 2024 Raptor to this point. Again, not done. Probably will never be done. We're always just experimenting and tinkering. So I'm really excited to get out to King of the Hammers and put this all really to the test. Hey guys, Matt here with BuiltRight Industries. Today I'm going to do a quick build breakdown on our 2024 Ford Raptor project. If you watch the channel, you have seen us do more detailed videos on most of these things. We're working with a lot of great partners on this truck. It is not done, but we thought we would kind of give you guys an update, so let's dig into it. All right, so we'll start out with something that you guys probably have not seen yet, unless you were watching some of the Overland Expo coverage, but this is something that we started sharing at Overland Expo. Very much a work in progress, but you know that we do a bulkhead accessory rail. We're gonna do a bedside accessory rail. And as I was tinkering, I kind of came up with this slider idea. This slider obviously has some of our larger tech panels on it. We could certainly make a MOLLE panel that is truck specific. Alternatively, I kind of like the idea of running it with just the bar if you just needed to have a couple things in there. So this again is a prototype, a concept. We're gonna keep using it and testing it while we figure out what really works well. But I thought I would share that with you first here. So working our way around the bed, we've got this SDHQ bed rack here. You guys know we're building this truck to bring it out to King of the Hammers. We certainly want to be carrying 1 or 2 spares with us. So that is what you're seeing here. In the center of the bed rack, we have our power tank mounted along with our Pro Eagle jack. That's a Pro Eagle jack with a Pro Eagle jack mount and the adapter plate that SDHQ manufactures. In the center here, I've just got a VP Racing can that is just mainly sitting there. My plan for the center spot here, and we'll show this again in the future, we're actually gonna have a winch setup that we can remove from the rear receiver and mount to the bed rack. So we've got a winch for more, and we've got the carrier for more, and so we'll show that more in the future, but that's the reason that space is open. So in the back of the truck here, we've got 2 identical 37-inch spares. Special thank you to Method for helping us out with the set of 6 wheels on this truck. Again, 37-inch BFG spares. And then we've got the tie-down straps here from SDHQ, which they build in partnership with Max, so you know it's good stuff. Really, really happy with how this setup turned out. So on the passenger side here, this is a more traditional setup. This is our bedside rack system for the Raptor. Rear panel and front panel. Spanning the rear and the front is a shovel. Of course, here my old Shovel Tech shovel with the set of the BuiltRight Industries riser mounts. Got a fire extinguisher here, quick and easy to grab. Great mount. I don't even know who makes this mount, to be honest with you. I got it on Amazon. Let me show you one of the features I like about it though. These mounts oftentimes will rattle where these 2 pieces need some space to fit together. This mount has some ball detents mounted here, which just put a little bit of pressure once it's in place and it's not prone to rattling. So that would be, if you're looking for something like this, that would be a feature to look out for. All right, jumping back over here, we've got a propane tank. This happens to be here empty from Overland Expo East still. I've got that on a prototype propane tank mount, really simple, low profile. And then hiding back here, I've got our lock mount with a master lock, Python lock. So that's a really slick way for me to keep propane tank, spare, shovel, whatever I want in the bed, locked down so I don't have to worry about people walking around with them, because with the spare tire setup here, we cannot run a tonneau cover like I normally would to make it a more secure setup. So real quick, hiding over here on the driver's side, I've got this mount that's kind of a prototype or one-off thing because I wanted it. If there's demand, certainly we would make it, but it's a way for me to mount an antenna for our radio and also a wireless access point. So this is a Ubiquiti outdoor wireless access point. I can show you a little bit more of that setup inside the truck, but this is gonna be able to provide internet for like up to 200 devices across a long range. So this is gonna be fun for us to have like out at King of the Hammers, for example. So also hiding down here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, we have our bulkhead accessory rail that is mostly blocked by the spare tire carrier. I did leave a fork mount on there, the Mountech fork mount. If I remove this spare or set it to the side, I can still get my bike in there. So it's kind of cool that we didn't have to remove that in order to get the rest of this setup in. So I thought I would point that out. All right, so obviously on the back of the driver and passenger seat, we've got the BuiltRight Industries seat back tech plate panels, seat back MOLLE panels. These are unique, of course, because they are rigidly mounted to the seat, top and bottom, so that we can carry heavier things. So here I've got like a small pack out using our pack out mounts, some miscellaneous hardware, which came in useful at Overland Expo. And then I got a couple of pouches here. I've got my snack pouch. You know, I got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and then first aid. On the opposite side, I've got another pouch and a little bit of our internet Wi-Fi router setup. So that's a Ubiquiti Dream router. Our Starlink is feeding that with internet. Below that is a PoE injector so that we can power this external antenna. So kind of a cool setup. We still have some refinement to do there. We're also playing around with Starlink mounts. I'm not going to show you anything there. I know there's a lot of people out there making mounts right now, so we're not in a hurry. But if there is an opportunity to improve that or create a new solution that is useful, we will do that. If there is not, we won't bother. So that's just, I'm interested in the Starlink thing. We get questions on that, but I don't want to jump the gun there, and there's already a ton of people making interesting stuff. So that is the seat backs. Moving to the seat bottoms or the back seat area here. I admittedly don't get to use this space very much because I have 2 car seats in this truck a lot. But below the seat here, we've got 2 different setups for a pouch. The first is our large MOLLE pouch attached to a Velcro tech panel here as a way to kind of attach it, but also quickly remove it. Over here, we've got something that's a little bit newer. We call it the Go pouch. It's got a handle here, Velcro on the back of it. This is a great way to have something that's kind of grab and go, whether it's under your seat or in the cargo area of your SUV, what have you. And then I'll move over to the passenger side. All right, so behind the passenger seat here, this of course has the factory release on it, which is nice. We have the BuiltRight Industries storage panel back here. Just mounts top and bottom, really nice, simple solution. And I've got our ICOM 5100 radio. I don't know if they call it the main unit or what, but I've got that mounted here. This is getting power. It's getting signal from the antenna, and then it is sending through Ethernet up to the front for the microphone and the kind of the controller, the head unit situation. So again, just a nice clean place to store this where it's easily accessible, but out of the way. All right, so moving into the front seat, there's not a ton to see here yet. The dash is all covered in dust from our last trip, so deal with that. Up here at the headliner though, we do have our S-Pod mount. We got this when we did our whole Baja design setup. It replaces the sunglasses holder up here with a nice 3D printed mount. And then it's got the controller here, 8 buttons, 8 switches. You can program them via the Bluetooth app. So for example, when I hit the second button, it turns on 2 different circuits. The first one is just one, so kind of just some fun stuff to play with there. The rest of this is pretty much left alone with the exception of the dash pocket tray there, which we're not even gonna show you yet. Since we bought this truck and started building it, we've been playing around with dash mount options. We're taking our time to get that right, and also because we've had some people kind of quickly follow what we're doing with other dash mounts, and so I'm being patient with this to allow them to kind of come up with whatever they want, and then we'll swoop in with the best solution. So not usually that aggressive, but that's the way that I feel. I'm looking forward to it. So with that, let's move to the front. We'll pop the hood here first. These are some of the first things that we did with this truck. I'll mention the Cobb stuff first. We of course have all Redline Cobb stuff. They're just awesome to work with. We've got the intake here, the scoop, the radiator reservoir cover, and then you can't see it, but down below here we've got the Cobb factory location front mount intercooler. And because we're down here already, we of course have the TurboSmart vent atmosphere valve, which is a lot of fun. So back up here real quick in the engine bay before I close the hood. We do still have some wiring to tidy up. I like to do things temporarily while we kind of really figure out what we want. Certainly getting it out of the way, but what I want to draw attention to here is the Bantam X from S-Pod. This thing is awesome, and it's a power distribution system. So you've got 8 circuits, power, ground. It's got each of these circuits is fused. I think it's like a solid state fusing, and then this is the control cable that goes up to that controller, which I showed you earlier. So as far as, it just doesn't get easier than that as far as adding and removing circuits. I do use the upfitter switch wires for a couple of different things, powering the Starlink and some additional 12-volt stuff. But when it comes to our exterior lighting, this is how we are controlling all of it. So highly, highly recommend that system. So up here on the A-pillar, we've got the SDHQ mounts. I know there's a bunch of people that make these mounts. These SDHQ ones are super thick, super durable, really nice. I had these on our 23 Raptor as well. Up here we have the Baja Designs XLs. These happen to be the Racer Edition with the combo amber lens. And then we've got, of course, the BuiltRight Perfect Fit antenna. Down towards the grill, this is the Fog Pocket kit from Baja Designs. This, I think, is the kit that is really for a 23 and newer. It does fit the 24. I think on the 23 they sit back a little bit, but I actually really like this setup. In the center here, these are the DOT lights. So my first switch on S-Pod is just the DOT lights, and my second button is all three. This S1 is not to be underestimated. These things are super bright and super compact. These are awesome little lights. Before I even mention behind the grill, I feel like I should give a disclaimer, which is that we work with these companies, we partner with them. Sometimes they offer us product for free, sometimes it's a discount, but we don't use anything that we don't really believe in. You guys come to us looking for recommendations for parts and products and solutions, even if it's not something that we typically make. And we like to have an answer rather than just say we don't know. But we also don't like to recommend things that we haven't actually used ourselves. So this is the behind the grill kit. Again, this is from our 23. Fits the 24 great. We still need to aim this, which is a little bit of a headache if I'm honest, reaching back here, but I think with a gear wrench, we're gonna be able to adjust these. But these things are super, super, super bright. So I'm really excited to get out to King of the Hammers and put this all really to the test. For now, just play with it periodically at night, so.
That's what she said.
So before we get into suspension, really quickly, we do have the S2 reverse light kit from Baja Designs. I'm not gonna show you that, it's kind of boring. Very, very useful at night though. So that's in the back there. The last thing we need to figure out for lighting is like chase lights or dust lights. We'll show you that in the coming probably month or two. All right, so moving to suspension, this is not a 37-inch truck, came with 35s. We put 37s on it. It's a lower offset wheel. So we did have some rubbing on the felt in the back of the fender and would have more severe rubbing when we get out to the desert. We put in, for now at least, the SDI top hats in the front here. Those have been great so far. We haven't touched the rear suspension because we wanted to load it up with all of our gear. That chase rack, the spares, the power tank, the Pro Eagle mount, and the Warren winch, that's all really heavy stuff. So we wanted to get everything kind of set up in the bed before we make decisions on how to set up the rear suspension. So we're also playing with the idea of doing upper control arms, lower control arms, rear links, etc. So we'll just kind of see what time allows and how weird we get with it. But really happy with the front. The back, we definitely have to do something. It might just be like eye-box springs or something to bring the back up and carry that load a little bit better. So, all right, so that is it for our 2024 Raptor to this point. Again, not done. Probably will never be done. We're always just experimenting and tinkering. I think this vinyl that we threw on here for Overland Expo East is gonna change, so that might be something we kind of share with you just because it's kind of a fun pain in the ass. If anybody's a designer, reach out. Maybe we work together on something. So in the spirit of tinkering and experimenting, if you guys have other products, projects, partners that you want to see us work with on this truck, certainly leave those in the comments, shoot us an email, send us a message. We'd love to hear from you, and then keep checking back. We got a lot more work to do on this truck. We'll see you next week.